Oh man, I can already see the response of me disagreeing with how people sensationalized it.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Wait. Oh! I said I was gonna take a break from Bayonetta 3, but Nintendo coming in clutch with the Direct in less than 17 hours. How are we going today, Minasan? I'm sure those of you who are invested in the gaming space recently know that the trending post, PlatinumGames is shifting its style of developing games, which, by the way, spoiler alert, was quite misleading as debunked by none other than KELLAMS, one of the former developers, voice actors, and team members for Bayonetta 1 and PG. We got some interesting tea that I believe stemmed from the interview, but a few articles came out that led to the whole Attack on Titan tree of updates and misleading information. So here's what we're going to be covering in episode 99.5, potentially sacrificing my episode 100 to new information, the live service tweet, and explaining why you all shouldn't be worried not just about Bayonetta 3, but for all PlatinumGames IP. The fact that Kamiya has just confirmed some facts about Bayonetta 3 a couple hours ago, and how these culminate into the February Nintendo Direct that is literally going to air in less than 20 hours, which we will be watching together. By the way, a huge happy birthday to one of my awesome friends and Raccoonity Discord mod, Mini King. How does it feel to have a fresh Nintendo Direct on your birthday, man? Go ahead and subscribe to his channel after this video to get him a birthday present, and I'm sure all of y'all can also greet him in our upcoming watch party. If you are new to the channel and want to see the latest and best Bayonetta 3 updates, consider subscribing, liking the video, and turning on post notifications for us so you won't miss a single episode of our Bayonetta 3 content. In the words of Daifu, watch the entire video, don't be a stormy beach. Alright, so someone posted a secondary tweet that detailed PlatinumGames says it is changing its approach to its games. They will now focus on games that can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time, instead of the usual one-off well-designed titles. Now, of course, Twitter just blew it out of freaking proportion, where people started saying things like PlatinumGames is going to sacrifice quality, to no fault of their own. I feel that the translations in the link below were quite inaccurate. I get translations for any foreign text that I cannot understand from people who live in Japan or who are fluent in Japanese, even before I post. Shout out to Haru, Ryu, Makaze, and Dale. You guys are the realest. But anyways, sadly, people started bashing PlatinumGames, thinking how they are changing course into live service games, potential microtransactions. I even saw NFTs in one post I saw. Basically, you know those EA memes or Fortnite? Yeah, we even joked about it and how I wanted a Bayonetta 7 dating sim. But basically, people started to believe that PlatinumGames was about to tear away from the linear, play-to-enjoy finished games that are well-designed in order to appease to investors and therefore getting that moolah. While I think they have the right to innovate and adapt to the growing market, I think they will, by a bit, and not in the way how most people are blowing it out of proportion. And in the chance that PlatinumGames did change their development for upcoming games, and you are watching this in the future preparing your We Told You So comment, thank you for boosting us in the algorithm, by the way. Even then, KELLAMS coming in clutch with his translations of how it actually played out. I almost slipped and said that we are aiming towards and spilled some big details. Project GG is at the stage where we are trying lots of things, so I can't really share too much with you. However, speaking broadly about the game development in the future, I feel that unlike up until this point, it will be key to create games that people can fall in love with and play for a longer and longer amount of time. Of course, we want to keep making and keep close to our hearts smaller games full of ideas like Soul Cresta or titles in the vein of Bayonetta that feature fully realized one-off stages that you enjoy playing through until a game is over. But when we think about the types of games we are creating for the future, I think it will be something quite different to these sort of games. When I think about how the market may change over the next 5 years, I think this will be an absolute must. I know that is a pretty ambiguous answer, but that's all I can really say at this point. To be honest, in the grand scheme of 4 years, that was the most detailed answer for Bayonetta 3. But nowhere in that translation said that they are going to sacrifice quality, and I think people just assumed that they are going to be like Ubisoft or something. That's what I feel. Remember, this guy is the one who was responsible for mediating PlatinumGames to the English market back in the day, who also came up with the infernal language that Bayonetta chants. I think he is much more than qualified to talk about translating. I've heard him speak. He did those cool interviews with Kamiya in Japanese too. He also has a whole lot more works that you all should appreciate, so links in the description to support him. Even with my own deduction, I still think PlatinumGames is like that smart kid in class who only hangs out with a few people, but does things in a different way. I don't know, I've always felt that with PlatinumGames, so it just felt off key when I heard that they were allegedly going to completely change their development scheme. Again, I believe that they will innovate by bringing some new features here and there, and I know that that is quite vague, but anything I say may be thrown out of proportion, so I'm going to keep it sweet until I get some more news. They'll keep their well design in focus, because most of the team members are hard on themselves in the first place. Now, I don't know if it's the same team for Bayonetta 3, but some elements for Bayonetta 1 were often disliked by some of the team members due to it being rushed and unfinished. With now Kamiya being executive director, I don't think he'll let him and his team lose passion for Bayonetta 3, and now as a vice president for PlatinumGames' games. Now, I believe all these news and updates that I'm about to tell you, including the one that we just discussed, all stemmed from this interview. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the only one I could find unless they did some sort of private press conference or interview. This interview is on IGN Japan's YouTube for anyone to watch, but there are no English subs, so if you know Japanese and if you want to translate it sentence by sentence, you are more than welcome to in the comments below. I'll pin you. Some articles already derived some news from this video, and it's really quite interesting. By the way, these articles were sent to me by my community moderator Phileas, you the real MVP. And also an early happy birthday to you. Let's hope for John in this upcoming Nintendo Direct. This one was posted earlier today in the morning, to which I believe the interview was posted the night before. So I'm only going to read the golden nuggets, so here goes. There are a lot of new elements in this game that were not in Bayonetta 1 and 2. I hope the footage released so far will fuel your expectations for this game. Viewers might have been confused about what game it was for, and then we introduced some enemies, and still it was kept unclear. And then Bayonetta appeared. I think the fact that we were able to pull off this misdirection in the trailer shows that the new game has its own color. No pun intended. Bayonetta 3 looks a little different, and it includes some new types of gameplay, so I hope players will find it fresh. Kamiya also sought to play down some fears from fans that Nintendo's role as publisher meant that PlatinumGames would be forced to tone down some of Bayonetta's more adult elements. When we released the previous trailer, some fans thought that maybe working with Nintendo had meant we were under some kind of restrictions in terms of creative expression, but that is absolutely not the case. This will be a very Bayonetta-esque Bayonetta game. Now, Phileas told me that this fact was stated on Kamiya's Twitter, so that's not really new news. But here's the real tea. Inaba also hinted that the Nintendo-centric elements that made it into Bayonetta 2, allowing Bayonetta to dress as Princess Peach, for example, would not be making a return in the sequel. We already did a lot of that in Bayonetta 2, so it wouldn't be much fun to repeat ourselves every time. Now, does that mean no more Chernobyl? Does that mean no more pillow talk? Does that mean no more of the favorite weapons and costumes that we all loved? I'm pretty sure they're going to keep Zelda in because that is quite famous, but Minasan, no more Princess Peach cosplay. F in the chat. I just hope they bring back her elegant dresses and provide new ones like 2B and A2, oh my god. But yeah, they've confirmed that Princess Peach's outfit will not be in Bayonetta 3. And again, it could be just a misdirect, but that's what they say for now. All in all, however, for everything from its setting and characters to its game design and story to how it's promoted, PlatinumGames is in full control, which sounds reassuring and definitely not like how it was blown out of proportion. Okay, the next article is quite cool, which also kind of backs up what I've been saying about PlatinumGames not shifting into the live service style. One more thing I want to say. I want you to play the first two games before playing the third. I made the new story so that you can enjoy playing it without having experience of the originals. Even if Bayonetta 3 is your first game in the series, you will still be able to follow the story. You won't get bored. However, I am sure that you will enjoy it more if you have played Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 first. I want you to prepare yourself for the new game. It would be a shame if you hadn't played the others first. Now, just to speculate, some of you can hear the smile on my face. The fact that he said, I made the new story so that you can enjoy playing it without having the experience of the originals. That's just like how you can play Bayonetta 2 even before playing Bayonetta 1, because the story loops over. So I was thinking, does Bayonetta 3 loop over into Bayonetta 1 or to Bayonetta 2 in some way? Like, I had this theory before that both Jubileus and Sheba, the ones that we fought in Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, was actually Bayonettas of the future, where the whole timeline and the whole universe just loops back in, and Bayonetta is the one that is going to continue on in this universe in a whole time loop. Again, just a theory. Now, this was posted around 10 hours ago, so if you've seen this quote by Kamiya or Inaba before or anywhere else, please let me know in the comments below. Regardless, there are some amazing things about the story here, where we won't get bored, having those nostalgic rushes, seeing how we'll enjoy it more if we've played Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, and even recommending it in order to experience it to the fullest. But at the same time, you won't need to play the previous two to enjoy it. It seems to me that Bayonetta 3 will cater to both the hardcore fans and casual fans, from the traditional to the modern space of the gaming market. Again, it's hard to judge and finalize that statement from just a paragraph or interview. But these bring me to my last point, and that was the Nintendo Direct. The gold at the end of the rainbow. Now, here's my theory. Yes, I know, overthinking much, but it's a cool coincidence that the time when Bayonetta 3 was just trending, or more so PlatinumGames was just trending, from that interview update and post, the Nintendo Direct for February 2022 is shown a few days later. It's like they wanted to spark up the hype just before the final trailer before the game. The Nintendo Direct will be showcasing games that are going to release in the first half of 2022. All I'm saying is if we do get a release date of Bayonetta 3, I have a feeling it's going to be in June, so that way it's the latest possible date, or like how we've all been predicting a release date in the second half of the year. Again, I'm going to put my hopes high but expectations low, just like how I've been saying for the past 2 years. And you can too, in our Nintendo Direct watch party tomorrow. Reserve your seats on the buttons on the screen or in the link below. I'm Rakun, and never get disheartened.